Morning. Whether you are here in person or watching at home, it's good to be with you this morning. It's good for us all to be together. As we gather together this morning, let me share with you some words from Andrew Pacula. We arrive together here, travelers on life's journey, seekers of meaning, of love, of healing, of justice, of truth. The journey is long, and joy and woe accompany us at every step. None is born that does not die. None feels pleasure that does not also feel pain. The tear has not yet dried on the cheek, but the lips curve sweetly in a smile. Numerous are our origins, our paths, and our destinations, and yet happily our ways have joined together here, today. Spirit of life, source of love, may our joining be a blessing. May it bring comfort to those who are in pain. May it bring hope to those who despair. May it bring peace to those who tremble in fear. May it bring wisdom and guidance for our journeys. And though this joining may be for just a moment in time, the moment is all we can ever be certain of. May we embrace this and every instant of our lives. Come, my friends, with hearts open to both the challenges and the possibilities that this new day and this new week bring. With our hearts open to all that inspires, sustains, redeems, and transforms us. Come, let us worship together.
Carry me safely over. That was beautiful. The flaming chalice is the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the liberal religious tradition to which this congregation belongs. Will those of you here in person please stand as you are able for our chalice lighting? If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it with me at this time. As we kindle this flame, we recommit ourselves to nurturing the spirits of one another and the common good of the world we share. May the light of this flame be welcoming to all. Seek a liberal religious home. For those of you already standing, I invite you to remain standing for our opening hymn. Our opening hymn this morning is number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always at elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
Use she, her pronouns, and I'm glad to serve as part of your worship team this morning. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a long-time member, I'd like to offer you a special welcome. Here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh, we are intentionally inclusive, liberally religious, and actively serving the common good of the world we share. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your religious journey, you are welcome here. This morning, one of our lay ministers will be available in the front right corner of the sanctuary after service to talk with anyone who is experiencing any difficult circumstances in their lives and would like to talk to someone. I hope all of you will read through the chalice you received by email on Friday about everything happening here around UFR, or check out our upcoming events section of our website. I'd like to highlight a couple of events now. 2 Sundays from now, on March 29th, Reverend Carey will be leading a class about how to set and maintain healthy boundaries. I'm coming. This class will be held from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. in Founders Hall. This class will explore how setting healthy boundaries can help us understand our own needs and strengthen our relationships. Curriculum will be based on the book Set Boundaries, Find Peace, and its companion workbook written by Nedra Glover Tawwab. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. All materials, as well as tea, coffee, and light snacks, will be provided. Look in the chalice or in the upcoming events section to register. This coming Sunday, March 21st, a birthday celebration of life will be held for longtime member Linda Rogers at 11 a.m. at UUFR. A lunch reception will follow the service. In order to plan for how much food to provide, Linda's family would appreciate it if people planning to attend will sign up on the form you will find on the table outside of the sanctuary, or in Founders Hall during social hour. Please contact Reverend Carey for additional information. Our in-person social hour this morning will be downstairs in Founders Hall. I now invite you to meet and greet your neighbor.
Howdy, neighbor.
Howdy, neighbor.
Good to see you. So glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here. And last night was so wonderful. The singing resistance warmed my heart. And there really is such a true, neurological benefit to doing that and to being around other people kind of feeling the same thing. I'm super grateful that's happening. Even my husband, he's got a lovely voice, but he's so shy and he's always been so afraid to do that sort of thing. He started singing in service and he started to sing. He was excited about that yesterday. This has brought out a totally different side of him that I'm so grateful for. Yes. I'm going to go grab my water.
I invite us to come back together. I invite us to come back together now. I invite us to come back together now.
Want me to do it? I'm loud.
Yeah.
Friends, we can continue our conversation downstairs at social hour. Reverend Carey would like your attention, please. We need a bell. We need a bell or just the gong. How about we start gonging?
I know.
We love that you guys.
So much enthusiasm. I love it. This is the time in our service when we acknowledge some of the joys and sorrows of our community. We do this because we believe a joy shared is a joy made even greater, and a sorrow shared is made easier to bear. This morning, I lit a candle on behalf of all of us. This morning, let us hold in our hearts the members of the Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan, which was the target of a terrorist attack on Thursday. Let us hold in our hearts, too, all of our Jewish brothers, sisters, and siblings during this time of increasing anti-Semitic incidents in this country, which are likely to increase even more as a result of the U.S. war in Iran. Let us hold in our hearts as well our siblings in our country, our Muslim brothers, sisters, and siblings, the vast majority of whom want only to live in peace with their neighbors as they both celebrate the end of Ramadan this week and also face increasing incidents of Islamophobia. Let us lift up our hope that the war in Iran will end as quickly and peacefully as possible, both for the sake of the peoples of the Middle East and all of the people in this country as well. Pat Ward, a UUFR member for over 2 decades, is settling into her new senior living facility in Kinston, North Carolina. She hopes to move back to the Raleigh area in the months ahead. In the meantime, visits and calls from people she knows are most welcome. Barbara Zimmerman shares her relief that she was able to leave Qatar before the U.S. bombing of Iran. She is now safe at a small beach town in Kenya. Chris Dupree shares his great joy that his friend has been released from the ICE custody and returned to his wife and 3 children. His name is Moises, and he was in custody from November 18th until February 27th of this year. His wife, Esmeralda, gave birth on December 7th, and he is finally able to see his new child. As we hold these shared joys and sorrows in our hearts, and as we reflect on the joys and sorrows, fears and hopes of our own lives, let's be together in stillness and in silence, opening ourselves to that spirit within us and amidst us, called by many names, but known to every human heart, that leads us to a fuller and deeper and richer experience of life. After the silence, we will sing together hymn 1010, We Give Thanks. But for now, let's be together in stillness and in silence.
Good morning. My name is Russ Outcalt, and I'm a member of your board of directors. I'll be downstairs at social hour after the worship service. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me about the board, talk to me about any concerns you may have, or just say hi. Everything we do at UUFR is only possible because of the generous financial support so many of us provide. Pledge materials for our annual generosity campaign were sent out a week before last. All members are asked to return pledge forms by March 31st to UUFR to support our upcoming fiscal year. You can also make a pledge for next fiscal year by clicking the pledge button on the front page of our website. As for supporting UUFR during this fiscal year, for those of you who have set up automated giving to UUFR or who send in a check by mail each month, I'd like to thank you now for your generosity. Here at UUFR, we designate one Sunday each month as a Justice Sunday, and all the money collected during our offering is given to a local or national nonprofit organization. Today is our Justice Sunday, and our Justice Council has designated Habitat for Humanity of Wake County as the recipient of today's offering. Rick Beach, Vice President of Faith Relations at Wake Habitat, will now tell us a little bit more.
Seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity builds homes, communities, and hope. I am Rick Beach, and I have the privilege of mobilizing the faith community for Habitat. Our vision is a world where everyone has a quality, affordable place to call home. Following the radically inclusive love of Jesus, Habitat works with anyone wishing to advance this mission and anyone in need of affordable housing that qualifies for our programs. Habitat for Humanity operates across this country and in 70 countries around the world. Habitat has served over 60 million families. Habitat Wake was formed in 1985, and with your help, we become one of the largest Habitat affiliates in the country. Yeah. Together, we have built 1,000 homes, repaired 700 homes, served 1,000 families globally through our tithe, and helped over 800,000 additional households through our advocacy work. Well done. Habitat Wake is honored to work with you. You are truly a wonderful partner. Over the years, you have contributed over $28,000 and sent over 140 construction volunteers. Your congregation regularly provides quilts to homebuyers as housewarming gifts. You have an amazing young person who has raised over $3,000 through her lemonade stands. That's a lot. That's a lot of lemonade. Mary Wilson serves as an advocacy ambassador to shape local housing policy and is considered a super volunteer with over 24 advocacy actions. Your Habitat coordinators over the years, Lynn Taylor, she's still there, I think, yes. And Jim Hurtis are simply some of the best. Together, we are building more than houses. In the words of Jesus, we are building the kingdom of God. In the words of Martin Luther King, we are building the beloved community where all are loved and all have access to the essentials of life. As an early adopter of Habitat for Humanity's interfaith builds, you have created a more loving community. You have built bridges of understanding and torn down walls that separate people of different faiths, races, and cultures. As you know, today is Justice Sunday. We greatly appreciate the generous way you support this ministry financially year after year through this offering. In addition to financial support, I ask you to consider working on your congregation's April 11th workday. We also have an upcoming Youth Build Day on May 2nd for youth ages 16 and over. And if you're like me, about to age out of construction, consider donating and volunteering at our restores, which annually fund around 20 homes a year. You can see Jim Hurtis at the information table after the service to sign up for the work days and serve as an advocacy ambassador and a regular Restore volunteer. We need your support now more than ever. Our community has an affordable housing crisis where 1 out of 4 families lack affordable housing, and there's a shortage of 28,000 housing units for families earning $50,000 or less. Let me encourage you that when you support these building efforts and you use your voice to shape housing policy, you are bringing good news and setting free those held captive by the affordable housing crisis. You are creating God's beloved community where all are loved and all have access to quality, affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. If you would like to make a contribution in person this morning, we invite you to bring it forward and put it in one of our offering plates here at the front of the sanctuary. If you would prefer to have an usher come to you, please raise your hand. And you may also give using one of the methods that will be shown on our screen. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received.
A reading of excerpts from, How We Die by Sherwin B. Newland. When my time comes, I will seek hope in the knowledge that insofar as possible, I will not be allowed to suffer or be subjected to needless attempts to maintain my life. I will seek in it the certainty that I will not be abandoned to die alone. I am seeking it now in the way that I try to live my life so that those who value what I am will have profited by my time on earth and be left with comforting recollection of what we have meant to one another. There are those who will find hope and faith in their belief in an afterlife. Some will look forward to the moment a milestone is reached or a deed is accomplished. There are even some whose hope is centered on maintaining the kind of control that will permit them the means to decide the moment of their death, or actually to make their own quietus unhindered. Whatever form it may take, each of us must find hope in their own way. Death rarely, if ever, acts according to our plans or even to our expectations. Everyone wants to do this thing of dying in the proper way. There are pitfalls of decision-making to be sidestepped and varieties of hope to seek, but beyond that, we must forgive ourselves when we cannot achieve some preconceived image of dying right. Nature has a job to do. It does its job by the method that it seems most suited to each individual whom its powers have created. When at last the moment comes, it is incumbent on us to remember that it is not only the way of all flesh, but the way of all life, and it has its own plans for each of us.
Thank you, choir and Jean Marie and Tatiana. Let's give them some more love. You may have guessed, but in my message today, I will be mentioning death, inviting you to consider your own death and, to a lesser degree, think about the loss of others in your life. I encourage you to tend to your heart and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Back in 2010, I became a member of the UU congregation in Westport, Connecticut. To date, this has been the only UU congregation in which I have been a member, but I have had the privilege of serving as a minister in 2 other congregations, one as an intern minister, and now here at UUFR as an assistant minister. I now know that every congregation has its power members. You know, those people who are politically minded, institutional geniuses, and dynamic forces of nature who get multiple high-level tasks done at one time. Anyone know anyone like that? At UU Westport, Linda Shannon Bluestein was one of those people. She had served as the president of the UU Metro New York District. She had campaigned against gun violence. When I served on Westport's Board of Trustees, she was board president and took on the Herculean task of trying to teach myself and the rest of the board policy-based governance. If you know what that is, I'm sorry. She went to concerts and plays and lectures. Linda was always on the move and had an infectious smile and laugh. She was full of joy, as well as a stalwart realist. She had been a nurse, and her husband was a doctor. Later, she earned an advanced degree in public health. Her mother had suffered 3 different cancers during her life, and Linda tended to her mother through each kind of cancer and unique treatment, witnessing the toll the disease and treatments took on her mother, ultimately watching her mother die in her arms. After watching both of her parents experience what she called bad deaths, Linda herself was diagnosed with one type of cancer and fought her way through it. Then she was diagnosed with a different type of cancer, and she fought her way through that. By 2021, Linda thought she was in the clear. Then she received the heartbreaking diagnosis of late-stage fallopian tube cancer. Even Linda's force of nature wasn't formidable enough to win against this disease. But did she stop fighting? Of course not. Now that she knew what was likely to lead to her death, and an approximate timeline, she turned her attention to what she wanted to do with the rest of her life. Linda had been a proponent of legislation that legalizes MAID, medical aid in dying, which allows a medical doctor to legally provide drugs that will end a person's life, so that patient can self-administer the drugs when they deem it time. Usually, such laws allow MAID only in the case when the patient has a terminal, life-limiting disease and, according to doctors, has no more than 6 months to live. MAID is called death with dignity sometimes by those who are in favor of MAID legislation, and also called medically assisted suicide by those against MAID legislation. Linda had worked on several campaigns to pass MAID in Connecticut, but in part due to the high number of Catholics in the state, all failed while the bills were still in committee. Now that she had a personal stake in the outcome, Linda pursued the only solution available to her. She sued the state of Vermont At the time, only 2 of the 9 states with legal medical aid in dying, Oregon and Vermont, limited its use to state residents. Linda's lawsuit was filed on the basis of discrimination against non-Vermont residents by denying MAID to those who were not residents of Vermont. Linda's lawsuit was successful. In 2023, the state residency requirement was removed from Vermont MAID legislation. On January 4th, 2024, Linda peacefully completed her life on her own terms in the presence of her loved ones after consuming a combination of drugs that were incompatible with life. The only guarantee we have in life is that someday our lives will end. The process of dying is as natural as the process of being born. Expectant mothers create birth plans, deciding who they want in the delivery room, in what kind of environment they would like their baby to be born into, whether they want medicine for pain control or not. Why is it not normal for us, as Linda Bluestein did, to plan our own transitions into death as well? U.S. society doesn't do death very well. Death is denied, ignored, sanitized, compartmentalized, and above all, not talked about. I get it. Talking about death can be scary. Talking about death can make it feel more real. And yet, death is real, whether we think or talk about it or not. 7 months before my husband William died of a major heart attack, he had a smaller one. He was hospitalized for a few days, had a couple of stents put in, and came home with new medications. He followed the doctor's orders for diet changes and cardio rehab, and eventually received a clean bill of health. We were both grateful for the relatively benign wake-up call that motivated William to take better care of his health. But we didn't talk about death. Something that I would do differently if I'd been given the chance. I didn't want to talk about death because I was so scared of losing him. I just wanted to wrap him in bubble wrap and keep him safe and feed him kale 24/7. If I talked to William about dying, what I feared the most would feel more tangible, more likely somehow. And yet, he died anyway. And we never had the chance to share with each other what we thought about death, what we wanted done with our belongings and our bodies, what we thought happened to us after we died, and how we wanted our transitions into death to happen. Now, having gone through what I did, I really think that talking about these things, as difficult as it would have brought us closer together and allowed us to be more authentic with each other. We won't know what will lead to our deaths until it happens. But if we are seriously injured or have a serious illness, we are put in the care of doctors and possibly hospitals. When I served in a hospital as a palliative care chaplain fellow, I learned that the main mission of modern medicine is to find a cure for the underlying disorders of the body. As long as the benefits of a treatment outweigh the potential side effects, the doctor will suggest that treatment to a patient. The fervent hope for a cure, whether it's held by the doctor or the patient or their loved ones can sometimes overshadow the patient's quality of life. While treatment may lengthen life, what kind of life is being lengthened? Is the patient's life being prolonged, or is it the dying process that's being prolonged? One of the basic tenets of medical ethics is honoring the patient's autonomy. A patient has the right to accept or deny a medical treatment. And yet often when we need to exercise our autonomy the most in medical matters is when we are sickest, and we may not be able to say what we want to be done or not done. If we don't specify who we want to make our medical decisions for us, the role will fall to our legally determined next of kin. If those we trust most in our lives aren't our next of kin, it's important to make it known in a legal document, a medical power of attorney or medical proxy form, who we want to make our medical decisions for us. And it's important that those we trust most in our lives know what our decisions might be. Where were we able to make them? This can be done through conversations, or better yet, through filling out advance directive paperwork, and by revisiting this paperwork anytime we have a change in our health. To help the people who we want to make our medical decisions know what we would want is the biggest gift you can give them. Because instead of worrying that they're making choices for themselves, they know that they are making decisions on your behalf. I probably don't need to tell you that there is nothing dignified about serious injury or illness, pain, discomfort, relying on others for our care and for things we are used to doing ourselves, inability to do the things we enjoy doing. These are some of the ways we suffer when our bodies don't work the way the way we want them to. And when we get older, sometimes we get to the point where what ails us won't get better. U.S. society places value on what we are able to produce, what we're able to do, and what we're able to do without help from others, our individual independence. We can feel real grief when we're no longer able to work, or to volunteer the way we want to, or pursue our hobbies, or when we need to depend on others for our daily activities of life. Such feelings are natural. I don't believe there's anything redemptive about suffering. Whether you're in pain for 10 days or 100 days or 10 years, I don't think that's going to in any way affect the quality of what happens after death in one way or another. But I do believe that sometimes we suffer when we resist reality. The longer we have the opportunity to live, the more likely it is that our bodies will age and parts of our body will wear out. The more likely it is that we will lose who we love. The more likely it is that we will lose our ability to produce the way society tells us we should. And the more likely it is that we will depend on others to help us with our daily activities of life. These are natural things. Alongside the pain and suffering that comes with disease, injury, aging, is an invitation to understand our place in the universe in a different way. Our inherent worth and dignity does not come from what we are able to do or not. And each of us is dependent on others every moment of our lives. I invite you now to think about a time in your life when your priorities changed or what you thought was true was proved untrue. I'm going to just have a couple of minutes for you to think about that. And now I invite you to consider what your thoughts might be if someone told you that you had 2 more years to live. As a hospital chaplain, I saw many different ways that people approach the dying process. I think there are as many ways of approaching the dying process as there are ways of approaching how to live. Some people planned ahead. Some denied the reality until the very end. And that makes sense. In my opinion, but when you can get past the fear, thinking and talking about death can help you live your life more authentically. There's a reason why many religions encourage their adherents to think about death regularly. When I consider my own death, it helps me be grateful for what I have. It helps me prioritize what is important to me and gives me clarity on how I want to live whatever amount of time of my life might remain. Some of the things that might be important are experiencing things that I want to experience. Skydiving is not one of them. For me. Celebrating important milestones. Mending broken relationships. Saying things to loved ones I want them to hear. I might do some spiritual work to help me come to terms with the big questions of life, like, why am I here? Or why do we die? Or what's the meaning of life? I might think about what I want my legacy to be, what I might want done with my body and my earthly possessions. I might think about what I want my quality of life to be in the time that I have remaining. These are all some of the tasks of dying, but we don't need to be dying to start working on these tasks. My fellow UU Westport member, Linda Shannon Bluestein, was one of a kind in life, as well as in death. There are those of us who would never choose to die as she did, and that is the way it should be. How we die is as unique to us as how we live. For Linda, she wanted her legacy to be increasing access to medical aid in dying, both because it gave her the ability to make a personal decision, and also because it made that decision available to others. In reality, many of the people who are given the medications to end their lives never use them. But it was a comfort to them to have the medication should they want to use them. And with any law, it's important to write them with justice in mind, so that MAID is not used as a tool of oppression for those who lack power or people to advocate for them, or those who face real consequences of not being able to pay for medical care. But MAID used judiciously and compassionately is one way we can honor the dignity of those who desire to die on their own terms, in their own time. Jane Hunt is leading a coalition which includes members of the Care Corps and the Elder Support Ministry teams that has asked the UUFR Board of Directors to adopt a statement of conscience affirming the congregation's commitment to advocate for maize availability for those who want to use it. The board will be voting to adopt this statement of conscience at their next meeting, scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th at 7 p.m. in Peace Hall, room 201. Between now and the meeting, board members encourage people to reach out to them to express support or opposition to this statement of conscience. Last night at the Saturday Social, Jean Marie led a singing resistance workshop where we learned songs of resistance. In one of the songs we sang, the lyrics were, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is feeling the fear, being afraid, and acting anyway." I know for myself, some of the most meaningful moments in my life are when I have acted in spite of the fear I have of doing the thing. I believe that thinking about death is one of those things. If we are able to think about our mortality in spite of our fear, it can open a door to the deeply spiritual work of grappling with life's big questions and provide clarity about how we live into our values and prioritize our lives in accord with our values. May we all be courageous as we remember how precious every moment of our life is, how magical it is to be connected to everyone who shares our lives, and how an intentional and purposeful life can bless the world in both small and large ways. May it be so. Amen. I invite In closing, I would like to share some words from Victoria Safford. I believe that the suffering and death of living things is a part of the grand and natural cycle. Tragic only because we alone among animals are so aware of mortality and time. Death is not a part of happiness at all, but it makes clear the urgency of joy. As we end this time of worship together, may we do so with ever more love for one another, with ever more gratitude for this precious gift of life we share this very day, with ever more peace in our hearts, and with ever more hope for our own lives and this world we share. Amen.